Multiple and mandatory turn lanes are something that you see very often in Winnipeg. We're going to discuss both multiple and mandatory turn lanes just to give you a good idea as to when you come up to one of these intersections, what you should be doing. So an example of a multiple turn lane, we've got two lanes here. Both of them are instructed to turn left. Understand that anytime you're expected to turn, a forward turn going from one street to another, even though you must turn, you still must signal. One of the biggest reasons is if there's oncoming cars, they have no idea what you have to do. So you want to have that signal on in any circumstance where even you're told that you must turn. Going through yields, you'll have your right turn signal on. Here you're told you must turn left, you'd have your left turn signal on. Now, the idea being multiple turn lanes here, that means two lanes can turn at the same time. If you're ever on the inside lane to start, make sure you're on the inside lane to finish. If you're going to make a mistake in here and wander within the lane, better to be a little bit too tight than too loose if you're in a situation where you started in the tight lane. You don't want to have a situation where you've gone over the middle dividing part of the lane. There may not be a broken traction all the way through there, so just be aware if you start on the inside, finish on the inside, don't get too loose. If you're on the outside, you stay on the outside, finish in your appropriate lane, and obviously don't get too tight. So pretty simple, but must be followed when doing multiple turn lanes. In this case here, we've got this lane turns left and must. This lane can go straight or turn right. We've got two separate lanes here. On this side, if you have a wide lane, if you're a left turner and you're in a wide lane, it's just one lane, but it can almost fit two cars, the left turner should hog center and be near the center line if they're turning left. If you're turning right or going straight, you can pretty much just be centered in your lane and staggered with the position that you're in. Be careful, sometimes people will pull up right beside you when it's really not quite designed for that. Just make sure you're not the one making that mistake. Now in this case here, I have to turn left from this lane. When the light goes green, if the first car pulls in and has a left turn signal on, if it was just me and him and he's still, I know I could go do my turn into the first available lane. But it's not just me and him. When the light was red, I noticed there were two cars and the second car in line was right here. I can assume that they're either going to be turning right or going straight. My concern being, what if they're going straight? So in this case here, this guy came up, sat right here to do his left turn. The car behind him is wiggled out and is going straight through. I have to be aware of that, let this car get through. Then if there's nobody else, then I can go do my turn. But make sure we're not just concerned with the first car in line. We have to know what are the people behind them doing, because if we commit to leaving, we got to get all the way through safely. So those are some of the principles behind mandatory turn lanes and multiple turn lanes. And just remember, if I'm this guy who has to turn left, they don't know I have to turn left. So give them a signal so they know what you're doing, and you'll have a much better time in multiple and mandatory turn lanes.